what you're doing?
I've just explained to one of the civic enforcement officers I'm filming.
What are you filming?
Anything I can see from public.
Right, and is there a reason behind that?
It's for a story.
Right, okay. Can I take your details, please?
What would you like my details for?
Because obviously, in the interests of public safety and everything like that, when somebody is out filming and having a look around public buildings,
right,
we have a duty of care,
right,
to check you out.
What, a duty of care to whom?
To the general public.
I'm part of the general public?
Yes.
I don't have to give you my details then?
Right, I can just get other people.
Well, other people, I'm still not obliged to give you my details.
I'm asking because
I'm
at the
refusing.
moment, I don't know whether you are committing any criminal offences in this area.
I'm certainly not.
This gentleman is out filming and is pointing up, looking at all the cameras, and obviously in light of...
Identify the cameras up there?
In light of...
I'm not filming that. I'm filming up there.
Encounters like this often begin with what officers describe as a simple inquiry. But the legal framework behind those moments is very specific. In most public settings, a person can observe, photograph, or film anything visible from a lawful position without needing permission. The act itself isn't suspicious simply because it involves cameras or public buildings. Police are allowed to approach and speak with someone voluntarily. But the moment a request begins to sound like a command, the legal ground shifts. The key question becomes whether this is still a consensual conversation, or whether the officer is attempting to exercise authority without the legal basis required to do so.
There isn't an issue.
I'm just wondering why he's filming public buildings.
Yeah, I'm perfectly entitled to film anything I can. Hang on, wait a minute. I'm perfectly entitled to film anything I can see from a public place, including council buildings that are owned by the public.
Okay, we have concerns about public safety.
And your concerns are?
We don't know who you are.
That's
and what
not a concern.
Links it is.
It isn't.
In the day and age that we are in.
Are you accusing me of being a terrorist?
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But
do you have reasonable suspicion to believe that I'm up to anything other than?
I don't know what you're up to.
Go on to Google filming in public. And even legislation.
Don't tell me what I need to do.
Right. Well, don't tell me that I need to give my details when I know that I don't.
I'd like you to move away from this area, please. Otherwise,
you need a section 60. You need to remove somebody from an area without probable cause. You need a section 60.
Well, I'm concerned for public safety and what you are doing in this area.
Well, I've told you what I'm doing in this area.
Well, you need to move.
One of the most common pressure points in these encounters is the request for identification. In many jurisdictions, police can ask for someone's name, but asking is very different from requiring. A legal obligation to provide details usually depends on specific conditions, such as being suspected of a particular offense or being lawfully detained under a defined statutory power. Without that foundation, the request remains voluntary. That distinction matters because confusion around identification laws often drives unnecessary escalation. When someone declines to provide their details during a voluntary interaction, it may frustrate officers, but frustration alone does not transform a request into a lawful demand.
The side of the road, if that's all right.
You've obviously got nothing else better to do with your time, have you?
Well, that's not your concern. What I do with my time is nobody's concern but mine.
Fair enough.
Okay. Can I ask you to identify yourself? You haven't got any numbers on your pellets?
1,000.
1,000. And name?
Sarah Bainbridge.
And yours?
2629. You're also on body cam.
Yeah, that's fine. And you're based here?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, I'm based out of Darlington.
Right, okay, excellent. Hello there.
Oh, yeah, you're all right.
Hello.
This gentleman is filming. He's now refusing to give any details, and
I'm not obliged to.
I can't understand why he's out filming buildings, council buildings, refusing to give any details in light of the incidents that we're having around the area at the moment.
And those incidents, whatever they may be, no concern of mine, nothing to do with me.
But I don't know who you are, and I can't check you out.
Well, you don't need to.
Yes, I do, because I have a duty of care to the public.
I'll tell you what it is, mate. It's anti-terrorism.
There's no terrorist threat at the moment.
Yeah, but I don't know who you are.
What do you mean there's no terrorist threat? At the moment, we're still on.
Another important concept here is the idea of reasonable suspicion. Policing powers that restrict a person's movement or privacy generally require more than a vague sense that something feels unusual. Officers must be able to point to specific, objective factors suggesting a crime may be occurring or about to occur. Simply observing behavior that stands out or feels unfamiliar rarely meets that threshold by itself. Courts tend to look closely at whether officers can clearly articulate what they saw, what law might be involved, and why those facts justify intervention. Without that structure, an encounter risks becoming an investigation in search of a reason.
And nor has there been over the past 5 years towards any public buildings.
That's a lie, because there was one yesterday actually.
Was there? Well, I wasn't aware of that.
Well,
where was
there
that?
you go.
So where was
we
that?
don't know.
So here.
Yes, it was actually.
Right.
Yeah, there's one to the council offices as well.
Right. That's nothing to do with me.
That's
no
why
concern of
you've
mine.
been
How do we
Challenge
know
for your
that?
Well,
It's just
were
like
they
asking for your
still
details.
outside with a mobile phone?
Look, we're not getting into this.
Well-
I am now asking you to leave the area because I feel that you,
On what grounds?
because you are alarming the public.
No. Which section of the law? You give me the section of the law, I'll quite happily move.
You just need.
Beg your pardon? I'm just a...
I never said one word.
You liar.
We're filming you as well.
That's fine. It's public.
Just stand
It's
here
perfectly
until you
okay.
move out of the
It's
way.
okay, perfectly okay to film in public, which is what I was explaining to your colleague.
You gave me your details, and I could
Right. So
be happy that there is
my
nothing
details.
untoward.
My details won't give you any other information.
Public safety is a powerful concept, but it also has limits in the legal system. While officers are responsible for protecting the community, that responsibility doesn't automatically create new powers where none exist. Invoking safety concerns must still connect to identifiable risks and establish authorities under the law. Otherwise, the phrase can become a catch-all explanation for actions that haven't yet been justified legally. Courts and oversight bodies often examine whether a safety claim is supported by concrete information, or whether it's simply being used to support a decision that was already made before the legal basis was clearly established.
You've got no actual reason other than curiosity as to why I'm filming to be stood here
I want
asking.
to know who you are
Well,
to
I
make
don't-
sure.
I don't have to identify myself, and you're well aware of that. I know the law just
Right,
as much
very
as you.
shortly, I will to prevent a breach of the peace.
You can't prevent a breach of the
I
police
can prevent
if
a breach
none
of
was
the
going
peace.
to take place. I'm not breaching anybody's peace.
I have colleagues and members of the council staff who are very concerned about why you were out here filming in light of the incidents
I'm
yesterday.
filming a story. I'm not filming in light of those incidents.
Well,
Those incidents
until
weren't
I
even
can-
known to me until
I
you made
can
them aware.
Prove or negate either way. All I want is your details to make sure that no members of the public are a threat
They're
by
not.
you. Well,
My details wouldn't give you any more information about that.
people tell me every day
Well,
how good they are.
I'm
and that
not
they
saying
are no
I'm not saying.
threat.
Hang on, I'm not saying I'm good. What I'm saying, I'm not denying either way.
Everybody says all the time with interactions with the police. It wasn't me.
That's because
I'm no threat.
That's because your interaction, instead of accepting what.
At this stage of many encounters, escalation begins to develop not because new evidence appears, but because assumptions take hold. When officers interpret unfamiliar behavior as suspicious, they may begin searching for explanations that confirm that impression. This can shift the focus away from what the person is actually doing and toward what officers imagine could be happening. The challenge of that mindset is that it risks turning lawful conduct into a perceived threat simply because it doesn't match expectations. Effective policing requires separating instinct from evidence, especially in situations involving activities that are clearly legal in public spaces.
Cite laws that don't exist. Say that
cited a law that doesn't
you
exist.
told me that you were going to move me. You can't move me without that section, without the powers under a section.
I have reasonable grounds to believe you.
If you're asking me to move,
Yes.
right, and you can state me a section of the law, I'll move quite happily. That's a perfectly reasonable request.
It's fine because we've got supervision
Do you
coming in.
understand what the current levels of
If
threat at the moment?
right, if there has
You know
been,
what the word evident means? I'm sure you do. You say that an intelligent
if there
person.
has been a threat yesterday of some sort, then yes, I can understand.
Right. So
But
now you understand.
but I wasn't aware of that until you told me.
Right.
And
So now that's why we need your details.
well, you don't need my details.
Yes, we do.
So do you have the details? Whoever it was who you spoke to
You
yesterday?
know what's going to happen, right? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. You're going to end up getting arrested.
For what?
Right? Listen, that
For
we're
what?
speaking to a supervision at the moment, okay? Based on the current threat levels and the incident that happened
now we'll
yesterday,
get an
that
order out.
will ended up getting seized, okay? Under
References to serious legislation, particularly counterterrorism powers, tend to raise the stakes instantly during encounters like this. Those authorities exist for very specific circumstances and typically involve defined thresholds before they can be exercised. Mentioning them without clear supporting facts can create confusion and tension without actually resolving the legal question at hand. In many oversight reviews, investigators focus closely on whether the conditions required by such powers were genuinely present. If the justification isn't clearly connected to facts on the ground, invoking those powers can appear less like a lawful precaution and more like an attempt to force compliance.
Body cameras will also be made public knowledge to me, and I'll use them.
That's fine. I want to know.
I just can't see why you're being
Well,
so obstructive.
I'm not being obstructive at all.
Yeah,
I'm not obliged. No, there's no obstruction, because I'm not obliged by law to give you,
Well,
unless
fine,
you
you can fight that in court then.
unless you reasonably assume that I don't need to, because it wouldn't go to court.
Well,
You'd be looking at a lawsuit.
You're being obstructive. I don't care.
I'm not being obstructive at all.
care.
Refusing to give my details when being asked is not an
Listen,
obstruction.
You've asked for our details, okay?
Because I'm, as a member of the public,
Yeah.
and you being civil servant, you are legally obliged to give me those details upon request.
You've obviously got nothing else better to do.
Well, but that's my concern, not yours.
Yeah.
If I was stood on the other side of the road without a camera, you wouldn't have approached me. It's purely because I'm filming. Filming is a perfectly legal activity.
Because we don't know why you are filming.
But I've told you why I'm filming, for a story.
A story for what?
For YouTube, for my blog.
Right, so who are you?
I don't have to identify myself. And you're well aware of the law regarding identification, stop and search powers. You're detaining me.
I'm not detaining you.
So you just said to me I'm not going anywhere at the minute.
Listen, where do you intend to go next? Because I'm just going to follow you, right?
That's no concern of yours.
Right, well listen, I'm just going to follow you because we need to speak to you about what you're doing.
You can follow me wherever you like,
that's fine,
but
alright.
don't tell me that I'm not going anywhere,
Alright.
because that's a threat of detainment unlawfully.
Right, listen.
Okay.
Would you like to come back round to the police station
I don't
while
need to.
we speak to you?
No, I don't need to.
You don't need
No.
to. Right, where are you going now?
I'm not telling you.
I'm going to follow you then, okay?
You follow me.
Okay.
This is harassment. Yeah, so anyway, I went in to see him, and basically fobbed me off back to his offices most of the way. He did say that they would be doing some training over sort of data protection and dealing with photographers. Whether they did or not, I don't know. I didn't take it any further. I wasn't after them for money. It's not why I do this. It's just to show them as the bullies that they were, and hopefully they'll learn the lesson.